thankful it happened. We were both there, and you heard it, and I smelled it, and
Yeah,
I saw it squirting out. Wonder where the heck it came from.
yeah, we were on top of it,
Yeah,
even though it was a little bit of a comedy of error, but
yeah.
wasn't a tragedy of error. That's what
This
I
is
say.
Ronald. Just say a few words here. So we were talking about we're streaming live. um, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, YouTubers out there in YouTube land around the world and around the country. Um, had a little bit of a crazy thing. I was going through the front of the airstream. We were cleaning out, Timothy and I, and arranging, sorting, figuring out what we got there. Zap and kaboom. For going on. Hey, we almost went kaboom. And anyway, what happened was there's a can of penetrating oil, which is really, flammable. It's like WD-40 kind of stuff. And set a box down, and he's hearing a sizzling, I'm hearing a sizzling. And he thought it was rain. I was like, no, no drops. Anyway, it was penetrating oil sizzling out, skirting across the cot, which we had just cleaned off, just rinsed off and dried off and put back in. So it soaked the end of the cot, so we have to rewash it again tomorrow. Get that off. Get some Dawn or something that'll penetrate it and get the grease out. Don't worry about it. It'll burn.
Yeah.
Oh, I can turn it on. I'll have to do that. It's burned out about 6 feet around in every direction, so it ain't no big deal. Now, if the wind came up, that might be an issue there. But we'll just kick that over later. Or sit that, drop it on the top, maybe. Either way, I don't care. We're okay. We're good. That's when you need your silicone gloves, fireproof, high temp proof anyway. It's interesting on camera, it picks up more infrared than the visual. We were doing a controlled burn on the Stockton Lake one time, and the flames were about 20 feet high, but the visual was like 30 or 40 feet high. It was really amazing. And they looked like flames, but you didn't see them with with the naked eye. It was just really amazing. Okay, so we got done a bunch of stuff done today, man. It was a good day. I'm tired. What did we do? Cleaned stuff out of the ocean. We opened the cattle trailer and got stuff out of there and stored some things in the old fifth wheel for storage. I got to sort through that, some clothing and stuff from eons ago. And kept the fire going in the airstream. Oh, it should still be going. It'll be chilly tonight, but we'll go in there and sit down a little bit later. Pretty nice, right? Probably we'll go and sit down and put up with the smell. Hopefully it'll be aired out a little bit.
Yeah, that penetrating oil sprayed
Yeah.
on the cot mostly though.
Yeah, most of it got on the cot. There's probably some on the wall
But
too.
we had washed the cot already.
Yep. Oh, something that's a degreaser like Dawn should work. Anyway, so we're doing words from a WATCHFIRE. So we're working on getting things as organized and spiffed up as possible. I've heard just once from Rock. He's still up in Syracuse, Nebraska, working on the truck. So gonna be out there for another day or two, maybe. I don't know. Weather up there is colder than it is here, so that's an issue. It's kept him from being able to work on it somewhat. He's thinking he can maybe get it running without going to the shop, and then come down to the Buick and pick me up and go back up there and drive the truck down. So, pretty cool. But we've got a lot of things we got to work on. We got the 3 rocket stove type water heating devices: the Turkish samovar, the Mongolian hot pot, and the Kelly kettle. Do that comparison one of these days. I got a Dutch oven I want to do an unboxing of and show you that, and also the Gasland, is that right?
Yeah, it's outdoor.
Gasland outdoor
Propane shower.
demand shower for camping. So we got to get a hose hook up for that and propane tank and whatnot. Did it come with a propane hose, you know?
I don't have one. I think maybe it does. I don't recall for sure though. I think
Yeah.
it does.
If not, we'll find one somewhere. So anyway, that's about it. Just, going through old stuff for me is like opening presents. Oh wow, this is awesome. We're gonna have so much fun with this. This is awesome. Don't mess with that. That's dangerous. Found a box of magnesium. Scrape that off like for tinder, and then you light it, and it's pretty easy to light with a spark or something, but it burns at 3,000 to 5,000 degrees, so it'll get a fire started no matter what the weather. Very good stuff for. I'm trying to cover different things for fire starting, for camping, survival type of situation, because I know that a lot of people, hopefully a lot of people listening to me will learn and learn how to do these things. So if you're out camping, when you're out trying to get somewhere else, relocation, on foot or on a bicycle or in a car or whatever, you can be able to take care of yourself and your family. So, yeah. We need to get a heavy base tripod for this. I got a tripod somewhere. I got two of them somewhere. I got to find them. We'll run across those one of these days. That way I can just sit on the ground, and my water. Yeah.
What's the handle like? Will it stick
that?
in the wheel? Is the handle a straight handle? I wonder if it would fit right here. In that gap, if it was rubberized and it would stuff in there. This one. No, not quite. Good idea, but not quite. Maybe that one? Yeah.
Stay upright. I can't turn it.
Yeah.
That's too far. Right about there.
Yeah, see if it does. I'll got my hand here. No, it's too much. But I think there's something you could probably figure out up here or further back.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like I said, I got real tripods somewhere.
Yeah, it's just fun to improvise.
I know. Think outside the box. We got a new saying, a couplet. I got a lot of directives for the Ozark Plateau, and one of them is.
Have two uses for everything.
Yeah, but you said it better.
Oh, no excuses. There's always two uses.
No excuses. There's always two uses. No matter what you see, there's two uses for it.
Here comes someone and a dog.
You have a candy bar for me?
Hello.
Entry fee is a candy bar.
And a person.
How you doing, Haley?
I want to say hi.
How you doing?
Good. Well, Shirley doesn't just thinks I'm going home. I wanted to visit you.
Cool.
Tucker, you
Your
stop.
mom was over here earlier?
No. Well, she's at my house.
That's why it's hard to drive up. What do you want? I got no chips. I got no biscuits. Nothing. No kisses. Stop it. Silly dog. Oh, I might have a biscuit. Let me see.
Missed you. Sorry if I got in the way of your video.
Oh no. You're photogenic. You didn't break the camera. Look at that. You broke it right there. That's the one I dropped on a rock. I had it on the seat here on my camouflage chair, and it fell off and it hit a rock. And it broke two things in it. That one and that one. Boom. But it broke the cover screen, not the good screen. The real one.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Don't run that way.
Don't want that one.
See if you can set that bucket, stabilize it just flat. It'll sit on there with a tripod here. Maybe I can use my hand to get my water and do stuff like that.
This is a nice fire.
Yep. Trash fire, basically.
Oh.
Bring it down a little bit. That'll work.
Give you some hands free.
Tucker, marked every single car.
What?
Because he even marked yours.
Oh yeah.
He marked yours 1,000.
What?
I peed on my car
He
to
marked-
mark it.
You did?
No, Tucker.
Oh.
Mr. Tucker the dog.
Busted over there.
Guess what? It was Lori. It was Lori. Lori. She has a new puppy dog.
Lori's here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's who I saw driving. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was your mama.
Is it a big dog?
Kind of. Tucker. That's why Tucker was barking.
They didn't fight or nothing?
No. I mean, the dog
Looks like
growled.
my porch light's on. That's the one on the pole.
Yeah, it looks like a porch light.
I need to get some good ones. Bill gets them from Amazon. I get them from eBay, and eBay order junk every time. What?
I made my own little house today, but I have to pack it up every time that it gets dark like this.
A little house?
Yeah, I made myself a little house, inside and out. But I have to pack out the outside.
What's it made out of?
An umbrella.
Oh.
That'll work.
Uh-huh.
Keep the rain off of you.
Shelter.
And it's also
One thing we're trying to get people to understand is the need for shelter. Have you ever heard me say survival is a rule of threes?
yes.
What's the first one? What's the most important one? Within 3 hours, you need shelter.
Shelter.
You're going to get too hot or too cold, and it'll hurt your body, and it can kill you.
Yeah.
Within 3 days, you need to have water. Within 3 weeks, you need to have some food. And within 3 seconds, you need to have hope.
And air.
So every 3 seconds, you need hope. Every 3 minutes, you need
And
air.
air.
Every 3 minutes, you need air. Every 3
You do
seconds, you
have
need
to
hope.
have
Every
air.
3 minutes, you need air. Every 3 hours, you need shelter. Every 3 days, you need water. And every 3 weeks, you need some food once in a while. Like a blue moon. I
Well,
don't know why this can't go forward.
You might be on a rock or something, or you've got
Same
your water.
exact place it was last time. It was irritating.
Water bottle,
Go ahead, my water bottle.
That's good.
Now my water bottle.
Tucker is listening to you.
look. He went and rolled in the ashes, so there's ashes.
Get out of here.
everywhere.
No. Back off. Back off. No, no. No.
Tucker.
No. No.
Come here.
No.
Tucker.
Say hi to the crowd. He got cleaned up, huh? He was dirty. Did you see that one day? I don't think he was stinky, but he must have rolled in some mud or something.
Nope, he rolled in ashes.
Yeah, he was pretty black. That's right.
Ow!
That's what dogs do for a living, is do goofy things.
Stop it!
Oh, here we go.
Don't make me fall. Don't make me fall into the fight. You wanna go? You wanna fight? Wanna go? Oh, I hate
my
whenever I wear
glasses on
hoodies
here.
like this.
Lots of material to bite on.
Because he likes to do this. And he doesn't want to let go.
It's a leash.
Ow! No,
Why don't you pull up
you
a
are
chair and
not
wax,
getting
wax,
my mini.
wise, sound wiser.
I may be 8 years old, but I love my mini now.
But the 8 years old, and you're
There's 80-year-old people that like the Minnie Mouse.
My mommy is 30
bonkers
something.
8. Bonkers 8.
Okay, gotta sit down. No dog.
Somebody drew on
dog.
her.
Thank you. Thank you, dog. You go find a biscuit.
Ow! Tucker bit me.
See, he's very good. When I tell him straight, he responds. He came over here and he was.
It's like
gonna-
you can see dog.
I must have been able to speak dog, but he listened. Thank you, Tucker. Thank you very much. You're a very
Oh,
good
and
dog.
other people say dogs can't hear you. They can hear you, but they just don't understand, and they can also feel what you're feeling.
Sometimes they understand too, but yes, you're right.
One time I actually bit somebody because they tried to,
Spinning my wheel. man.
like, shred her. Like,
Wow,
cut
you
her.
bit someone?
I almost bit somebody.
Oh wow, that's some campfire tale right there.
I did kick him in the face, though.
Well, that's something.
I forgot who it was.
You forgot who you
Forgot
forgot
their
who you
face.
kicked in the face. Come on. At school?
No. It was at Mom's. I made a new friend, And there,
So you kicked him in the face?
he wasn't a friend, but he acted like he acted like a sweetheart to me around his mom. But whenever his mom left, he literally just took this and went, "I'm gonna shred it," because he had a little knife in his head and he went in his hand and he went, "I'm gonna shred it," and I'm like, "Don't you dare!"
Yeah, wow.
Don't mess with Haley.
I made him have a bloody nose.
Stop picking. That's the wisdom I've heard before. If your nose is bleeding, stop picking it.
My brother-in-law said, I broke my nose in 7 places. You know what I learned?
What?
Stay out of those places.
That's a good one. That's clever.
Where is that forest?
This forest that we're in?
Oh, this forest is not a forest. This is it's pasture. There's some trees here, but it's not a forest. There's trailers over there. You can't quite see them. Somebody new here. Get this out of the way. Caplinger Woods, Missouri. There you go. Juan, what? What do you want? We're trying to have a good time. We had a hard day. My friend Timothy worked. We both worked really hard. He worked harder than me, but I feel it more than he does.
I also, after I kicked him in the face, I'm like, don't mess with flexible people. I'm just going to say that. Because they can easily kick you in the face.
Just from sitting down, they can do that, yeah.
Okay, somebody wants to know, what is this chat about? Well, I have a thing where we done for quite a few years. You know, I have a campfire, so I have words from a WATCHFIRE. You know, kind of fireside chat type thing. So.
Can I sit on something?
Yeah.
And we had an unexpected visitor that came.
Yeah. We got interrupted. Not rudely.
I mean, I was gonna sit on the ground on something.
No, there's right here.
You want to bring it over there?
Sit by your dog and keep him watch.
Oh, hush.
Take care of him. Keep him out of our hair.
Yeah, so this is a tradition that you started a long time ago to sit around and
Yeah.
have the WATCHFIRE. And lots of people drop in, right? And subjects change. It's different every time.
One's about why the Ozark Plateau is the perfect bug out location. That was about a 16-minute one of like call. I've got a lot of responses on that, a lot of comments. But one of the things that happened was, okay, about exactly 7 years ago, come June, I got divorced, unfortunately. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything. But anyway, other than be a bad husband, I guess. But, you know, so I've been basically homeless for 7 years. What? Don't worry about it. And so one of the things was one of my very dearest friends in the world he grew up in Nicaragua and Mexico, southern Mexico.
It's Mexico.
Alaska, Mexico. Get it right.
Mexico.
They say Mexico.
Quiet.
Mexico.
Nicaragua. Anyway, and he, you know, really dear friend. He counseled me a lot and preached at me the last time we got together.
Guys, I'm gonna say good morning to you. Guten Morgen, bitte. Guess what language that was?
It's German.
Guten Tag.
Okay.
We're German a little bit around here.
Mm-hmm.
Mamas.
So anyway, yeah, that's the idea. Just sit around the fire and talk about things. I'm trying to get across different ways to start a fire, different improvised shelters. I've got a shrink wrap shelter going out there, and one of my subscribers sent me a really good link for a guy out in the snowy area and just built a really nice one.
Me?
Yeah.
Guess who's coming over soon?
Who?
Brenton and Robert.
Is he when?
A few days.
Is he dragging Robert with him?
Robert has to go with his dad.
Good. So just Brenton?
No, Robert and Brenton are not driving themselves.
No, you said Robert has to go with his dad.
That means that Robert can't go without his dad.
So they're both coming? Are they staying a while or what?
Yeah, and Robert's not going to want to come down here because he knows you're down here.
No, not my fault. It's his fault.
I know, and I'm like, come on, Britton, let's go. Every time that I say, hey, Britton, you sure you don't want, whenever somebody says, hey, why don't you guys go down to Bill and Shirley's for a little bit? I'm like, Britton, you sure you want to go down there? And he's like, yeah, I want to go see Jerry.
Yeah. My friend Haley's talking about her whatever relation nephew. Anyway, my son had a cattle trailer full of cow poop. Well, it's good fertilizer, right? And you get away from that camera. No, get away. Go sit down. Lay down. And I said, hey, that's good fertilizer. We'll clean it out for you. So he parked it over here, about 30, 40-foot cattle trailer. And so Haley and Robert's younger brother, Brenton, and I were shoveling poop all day long. And it got cold, and that was not good for me. It would have been nice if Robert had helped, because it wouldn't have been such a stress on my heart.
And it wouldn't have been such a long time.
It wouldn't have been so hard. But anyway, so we're three shovel it, poop, walk to the back, dump it into the gorilla cart, shovel it, and we're just three. One of us get it, in tandem, or one right after the other, just sequential, taking shovels of poop to the back and dumping it in the gorilla cart. And Brenton's chattering along and he's talking, and all of a sudden I go, Brenton, you couldn't have read my book. I wrote a book about 20 years ago, How to Get Out of Babylon, and he was in essence reading to me from my book. So we need to build underground houses. Then you don't have to heat them in the winter and you don't have to cool them in the summer. And I'm like, wait a minute here. Well, how'd you come up with that idea? I've been thinking about this for a long time. He goes, this is what, at the time, 8 years old, I think. About 8 years old, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
No, he wasn't 8.
There's a lot of younger kids like that that are
He's not 8.
wanting to dig underground houses.
I
Just
was
have it
5,
instinctive.
and he was about...
Can you not interrupt so much? I'm trying to talk.
I was about 5.
Yeah, about 5.
So...
Robert was 10, as I recall.
Yeah, he was.
Okay,
now
so Brent was about 8 or 7, whatever.
He was 11. Brenton was about 11 or 10. 10, yeah, he was 10.
Robert's his older brother. Robert, you said Robert was 10. Brenton couldn't have been 11. Come on, Haley. Good grief.
No, Robert had to be 11 because Brenton
whatever.
was 10.
Okay, so you think. Okay, doesn't make a difference. They're two brothers. The older one is
Robert.
kind of proud and
Mean.
arrogant and mean and
He's greedy.
Greedy. He's got a few bad characteristics I hope he gets over someday before he passes on to the next existence. But Brenton is like just a charm, a wonderful, brilliant little kid, They're both smart. I mean, Robert is very smart, but he's proud of his smartness.
I told Robert to say good morning in German, and he went, Gute Gaga? And he said something like that, and I asked Britton to say it, and he's like, Guten Morgen bitte. And then I asked my mom, and she's like, yep, he's right. And I'm like, geez, Britton is smart. Britton is such a good kid. That's why he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Robert almost hurt my heart really bad because he never wants to play anything with me and Britton anymore, and he almost ripped one of my toys.
Yeah. He's got some issues.
I'll let you talk now.
Just pray for him,
It's your vlog. I'll let you talk.
Thank you. Gee, can I talk now?
That's very nice of you. Yeah, thank you.
You want to give us any words of wisdom there, Timothy?
Oh, you were in story mode there, but yeah, underground houses, shoveling poop for fertilizer.
Yeah.
Being nice to the kids even if they've got problems, and hoping for the best that they straighten themselves out.
All Robert did in the cattle thing was play on his phone. Play on his phone and just go,
People sure are stuck on their phones, that's true. Not always learning anything either.
Britton has a phone, but he's barely ever on it.
Well, that's probably better for him.
Deborah, hello there. How you doing? That must be a copy and pasted. Hello from Arkansas. I'm not knocking it. It's good for you to chime in.
Yeah, people like to
Good
say
to
where
see
they're
you on
coming
here.
from.
Say hi to say hi to Britton, even if he's
Anybody
not
have any
watching.
questions out there? So it's amazing to me. A friend of mine has two young sons. They're 6 and 7, 8 in that range, 6 to 8. And every time they're out in the woods, they're digging an underground house. They find a tree stump, a tree that fell over, and pull up a big root ball. We left a hole in the ground, and they'll dig into it and make an underground house. They'll dig down, build an underground house, and so it's just something that's instinctive in a lot of younger children. I'm thinking because if I see something 3 times, and I figure that's not just these three. There's multiply that by 100,000 or so. So, and the fact that I saw in the year 2000, no, let's see what year that.
Y2K.
No, it was after Y2K. 2000, yeah. My wife was down in at the time was down at a dormitory. We lived in Kansas, and at a dormitory waiting for mom to give birth. And I went down to visit her, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting up in bed. My eyes are wide open, and I see a young couple coming through the woods at me, toward me. And to my right, to their left, is a door to a home. And it's an underground home that was invisible from above. And years later, about 5 years ago, was describing it to a guy, and he said, probably a good reason it was invisible because to rent for surveillance, being able to be seen by the government. I'm like, yeah.
Say hi
So-
to Brenton if he's watching. Say hi, Brenton, if you're watching. Something like that.
Hi, Brenton, if you're watching. Yeah. Anyway, great little kid. So I see this underground home, and there's a note on the door. There's a welcome mat out front. There's a note on the door that says, if you find this home and it's unoccupied, it's yours. We built it for you. And it was like I was in heaven when I felt that. People have these near-death experiences where they experience heaven, and they just feel this overwhelming sense of love. And that's what I felt. That people were building homes for people they hadn't met yet and probably may never meet, I've kind of come to the hope or belief, that I'll actually see that happen someday. I hope, so I try to figure out how to build underground homes, quickly, efficiently, and thermally effectively and quietly, and so they're soundproof, fireproof, windproof, and everything proof, surveillance proof. So, and that's very possible. So we can do that. So that's kind of what we're doing here, and I want to start doing an underground home pretty quick here. I've got a shrink wrap shelter going, which I think is very cool. I love that idea. There's a whole bunch of them on YouTube, and I got a whole playlist of them. Shrink wrap shelters and cabins. What
should we do whenever Brenton comes over? Because he's going to want to cut wood
Oh
or
man,
something.
there's so many things. We're gonna have so much fun stuff. He can help me do video for the rocket stove, Kelly Kettle. I got 3 rocket stoves I
Because
want
I'm
to
not
do.
a good vlogger.
And I've got a Dutch oven we can cook in, and yeah, and Timothy's got a bunch of stuff to do.
It'll have to be on a weekend if I come.
Yeah.
And we'll have to be somewhere back here because if Shirley sees me with you, not good.
What's she gonna do? She's not you're not in prison. Get that through your head. You're not in prison. And she's not your warden.
Do you know what she
And she
would tell
doesn't
my
know.
mom? And do you know what my mom is allowed to do to me?
What?
Spank me.
Oh wow. Like you don't deserve a spanking once in a while.
Oh.
Spankings are good for you.
Daddy will use the belt.
Didn't I ever show you Sam?
Oh no, don't start that story again. You should take him to see Treebeard.
What?
You should take him to see Treebeard.
My name's Timothy. Your name is Haley?
Mm-hmm.
Timothy is Haley. Haley is Timothy, and it's not Timothy. It's not Tim.
Yeah. I said
Don't
Timothy.
shorten it.
I know, it's Timothy.
You can say Timothy if you have to.
Timothy.
Thank you very much. That is my name. Haley. Nice to meet you.
Haley
H-A-I-L-E-Y.
Lane. Haley Lane
And I
Walters.
spell it.
Oh, that's nice.
Stop it.
No one will remember. It's okay.
Don't do that. Well, if you say Haley and then Lane,
Oh yeah, it goes well
that's
together.
named after my wife.
It's a very nice name.
My name was going to be Emma Jane Walter. Emma Jane something.
Something with an S?
Imogene something.
No. No, I don't know what my last name was supposed to be, but I don't think it was.
Never forget you sitting in a high chair and someone put some food on your plate. And Emma was there. And you go, Emma wants some? You immediately wanted to share with her. That was really cool. I'll always remember that about you. Very sharing and concerned about Emma.
One time me and Emma were eating when Claire was kind of a baby. She'd copy everything that we did. And she said, "Can KK have some?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And we both gave her a piece of our cheese. And it was so cute. It was so cute. And then she literally ate how we ate. Like every move that we made, she made. If she could do it, she would do it. She'd do it the best she could. I made my foot touch my head because I was really flexible. I could do the splits all the way down. Mom can still do it.
Flexible.
Give us some words of wisdom, Timothy. Some of your life principles.
Quiet. I hear something.
Silence is golden.
Yeah, Haley, you get that one? Silence is golden.
Silence is better than BS.
Yeah.
Crap. I need to get home.
Rather have silence than
Better to keep your mouth and be thoughtful than to open your mouth and
I
remove
need
all
to get
doubt.
home. I'm sorry. I gotta go home.
Okay. Thank you for the good visit.
I need a light.
Take him up with you. No, just walk carefully. Do we have a spare light? I didn't bring mine, darn it. I'm sorry. Here, hang on, I got my charger, I think.
I can give her this one you gave to me. I have another one.
And light, yeah, do that.
It's too bright. Never mind.
It's too bright. Here, you want it like a strobe? But no.
You can use the red. Pick your feet up and be careful. Don't go forward until you...
1 foot in front of
Once
the
you
other.
walk her over to the trailer there, that'd be good.
Go slowly.
I can still see really good.
Okay, keep going. I'll be behind.
Don't run. Where's Tucker? You got Tucker Clucker?
She's got a light on her watch. I think it's some kind of like fancy Apple Watch or something.
You're kidding me.
I mean, it has a light on it. See, that's her watch, she said.
Shades of stolen Apple Watches.
And here's the thing you can demonstrate on this light is that the first one is pretty good. That's nice and bright. It gets dimmer. But then you get the strobe.
Wow.
But you have to go strobe every single time you want to shut it off. Which
That's even if it's on for a while?
I think it'll die and it won't do it.
No, I'm saying if you leave it on, let's say to step down, just put it on that one. Step
for
down
like
to
a minute.
In between one. See, mine, if you leave it on, if you use it for like 2 minutes, it'll just shut off. If you hit the thing, it'll just shut off. I like that. Yeah, I'll get the other kind next time. What's the blue thing?
It's the battery indicator.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. But I think if I push it again, it's going to switch to the other mode. Yeah. So it means every time you have to give
Which
yourself...
is like, here I am, shoot me.
You have to give yourself a seizure every time you turn it off.
Yeah. This is I got 2 of these because they're fairly cheap and they're not the best one in the world. So where is that? Oh, there. It's for joggers and stuff. It's safety. So you have a back rear light and a front light. They're called band lights. They're really good, but I don't like this kind. Get the one's about $19 off Amazon. And this isn't very bright compared to mine either. So then it goes to that, and then it dims down, and then it goes to strobe.
Yeah, but you have to have it strobe every time to shut it off. So
that would be crazy, you know. Like
you do it quickly, and it's not too bad. But but you got to know that, otherwise, it's shocking, you know.
Yeah.
So you just look away.
The battery's already down one too.
That's 2 out of 4. It's halfway.
Yeah.
I had it on a lot in the Airstream last night because I put it up above us to give us light. I use it as an overhead.
One thing we've been dealing with and talking about, I got to get a power source. So Timothy has got a Jackery, right?
I've got a Jackery and a Blue Eddy.
Blue Eddy, yeah. So he's recommended Blue Eddy because it's, is it 1500?
1500 watt hours, yeah.
1500 watt hours compared to the Jackery, what, 2 or 3?
No,
they're different ones. There's
Jackery's pretty high too, but it's the issue with the Jackery is number of life cycles, the amount of
Right.
times it can charge up and be discharged.
right. It's only got 500.
It's
is that
like
right?
yeah, so it's only really gonna last for maybe 3 years,
Yeah.
and maybe less.
So the
depending
Blue
on-
Eddy will last like 5 times that long. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there could be other issues that I don't know about yet, but
It's
so
something
far,
really
so
cool. We
good.
were sitting there in the trailer, and I was looking on Amazon. I was like, "Gee, I can get this Gasland demand camping hot water heater if they just for deferred payments, like 3 payments or something, no interest." I said, "Well, they always refuse me." I said, "They need to refuse me. They need to give me that card because I'm on eBay and Amazon a lot. I buy about several thousand things on eBay. I've got a 100% perfect record. I've never, I've never not paid anybody. I always get good reviews." So I said that. I said, "Synchrony Bank ought to give me this card." And so, poof, it said, "You're approved." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." So I ordered the Gasland demand hot water heater for camping. Now we got to come up with a tent, a 2-room tent for to shower in. That'll be nice. So we're trying to make this place as a soft landing spot as possible for Rock when he gets there, because he's been under massive stress. When people go through a transition, a really hard transition from the big city life out here, then it's a shock. And Rock's been under massive stress for months on end because his sister was dying. He was her caregiver, and she was basically trying to take him with her. Yeah, trying to kill him, not paying bills, and he'd give her money and she wouldn't pay the bills. So anyway, he's been under stress for a long time, and I know he's going to be under stress when he gets here because he's had a truck breakdown and stuff. So
Yeah, fire looks good.
yeah. So the thing is, and one person that's on here, I think Zimbabwe Zach in California said, she wanted to say, I need she said a soft landing spot. She didn't want to sound like a wuss, she said, I need a safe landing spot. She didn't want to jump out of the fire into the frying pan, or jump out of the frying pan into the fire. I said, no, you'll be jumping out of the fire into the frying pan. You'll be a lot safer here than you are there. Anyway, so then right after she did change what she said from soft landing spot to safe landing spot, the very next day I was streaming, I used the phrase soft landing spot. People need a soft landing spot because I've heard it about 100 times. My friend Mark Stockinger that came here from Connecticut, he said, I need a soft landing spot. And he stayed on our farm for about 2 weeks, camped in the tent, and I found him a place on a farm. He helped him out for quite a few months and built himself a cabin. When he's done with the cabin, he sold it to an elderly couple for $1,200, so that's really awesome. He's a very, very disciplined, very organized man. But, so people need to have a time of de-stressing. When Sherry, look up this channel, Sherry McKinstry, Garden Girl from Pennsylvania, no longer in Pennsylvania. She's here, and she's been a real blessing to everybody here. Yesterday, Shirley had a medical emergency, and Sherry was right there on the phone calling 911 right as I walked up to the cabin, so I was able to help out, and we had an oxygen tank there that actually was full of oxygen, and so that really helped her. Bill said her lips were blue, so she was really struggling for breath. And when you're like that, you're in a panic. I know that, so I said, we'll just slow the breathing down and do it. Count into the. If you ever have a situation like that, slow your breathing down. Inhale on the 5 count and exhale on 8 count, or even stretch it out to 11. And I've done that multiple times when I've had trouble breathing, and it gets you out of the panic mode. But people come here and they've been a blessing. I mean, my son was here yesterday and helped the EMT put the gurney back in the ambulance and whatnot. But so she didn't go to the hospital or emergency room or anything. That was good. Big expense they didn't need, definitely. I hope they saw that. Ian was here, Sherry was here, I was here, and you were here too. But all 3 of us helped out. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, it is pretty nice, Deborah. Yeah, it's nice here too. It was blowing earlier, now it stopped now, but it was getting a little bit chilly, so I put boots on. I put a coat on, but I'm okay. But it's been really nice. Good day for work, and we got a lot done. Processed through a lot of things, and found things out. Okay, I got to go through this. I got to go through that. I got to go through that, and put them in a different trailer, get them out of the airstream, so there's more room there. And Timothy brought a massage tape, which I'm really looking forward to being able to use with my daughter. She does trigger point myotherapy with her elbow, and she'll make me scream like a little schoolgirl. I'll scream in excruciating pain, but I'll feel better when she's done. Did you see what Ian did? He did the old thing of he put your hands over your chest and he, although don't crush my glasses, but he lifted me up and dropped me, cracked my spine a little bit, dropped my.
How was that?
Stretched it. I think it's better. Yeah. Have to have Bill do it. I need to get to, he said there's a good chiropractor in El Dorado too. If I can get to that, that'd be nice. I'm hoping Jeff will bring my daughter here though. Did a lot of, Bill plowed up a garden area with his tractor with a big plow, and it's a whole bunch of rocks, pulled up bunches and bunches of rocks, tons and tons of rocks. So I told Jeff, hey, there's a bunch of rocks here for sale for cheap. I mean, come by and get them for free. So he's gonna come by with the trailer and get some. Deborah says most people are in denial. Yep.
Isn't that a river in Egypt?
Yeah. You gotta watch out. If you're in a river, if you're in denial, you gotta watch out for alligators, crocodiles, or whatever. There's lots of them in there. Anyway, yeah. Very cool. Need to get my bucket. That's a good time to dump that bucket on there. What animal kills more people than any animal in the world? You know?
Is it full categories? How loose of a category? Because are humans considered animals in your equation?
No.
Okay, because they're the worst.
Yeah.
And the best, but they kill a lot. So.
Yeah. What wild animal kills more people than any other animal in the world?
Rat?
No.
Like with the disease or something?
No.
Let's see. How about an eagle? I'm joking. I was being a snake. I would guess it would be a natural gas.
Rivers. Hippopotamus. They don't eat people, but they kill more people than anybody else. They're very territorial and very vicious. I'm still looking for like-minded people in my area near Hot Springs, Arkansas. Wow, we think there'd be a bunch there. There's so many people in Northwest Arkansas that should be like-minded. I don't know.
Well, what is like-minded, I guess, is the
Well,
question.
yeah. Timothy asks, what is like-minded? Well, somebody that is aware of what's going on in the world and preparing and whatnot, yeah. Deborah, just do what you could do. If you feel like you're all alone, that same song, 975th verse. I mean, I've heard that when we were doing preparedness in the year 2000 or 1999 Y2K. We had Pilgrim's Products. You can still look at our website. It's still up on the Angel Fire because it was a free website. Look up Pilgrim's Products, British Berkfeld, and then Pilgrim's Products cylinder stoves. And the websites are still up, showing the product, two of the products that we started off with. But we had about 3,000 customers around the country, and every one of them said the same thing. I mean, I heard it probably 1,000 times that year, and recently I've heard it probably another 1,000 times from YouTube, my channel. I'm the only person in my group. I'm the only person in my community. I'm the only person in my church. I'm the only person in my family. I'm the black sheep. Nobody understands me. Nobody knows what I'm doing. Well, I very much empathize with that because from 1980 to 1993, I felt like I was all alone. I was doing preparedness. I called myself kind of like a closet survivalist, because in the year 1980, I had a picture in my mind. It was just burned in my mind. It could have been a split second, but I saw across a pasture, across a field, a whole line of trees at the far end, and there's a whole bunch of tents, white tents. There was no smoke, no fires, no movement, no dogs, no cats, no children, no people walking around, nothing, no movement at all. I just saw white tents, and that what was burned into my mind was those people are refugees. There's the only explanation for what I saw was they were refugees. And if I didn't do something to help them, they would die. So I started buying wool clothing and sleeping bags and boots and skis and anything that was practical for survival. Climbing gear, you name it. I mean, if it was at a thrift store or a pawn shop, I bought it, if I could. And but by 1993, I was kind of depressed and discouraged, and so basically I prayed. Just a thought in my head, and I actually said, Lord, I'm gonna get a job because I didn't have a real job. I never did in Denver. We did service things like janitorial work or you know contract labor, sales, home businesses and different things. Elaine eventually became a midwife, but the whole thing was to stay out of the system as much as possible, to slip through the cracks of the system, and we did. And the two things I did not want to have was a job and a home, a house. We didn't want to buy a house because we wanted to be. When we came time to left Denver, came time to leave Denver, we wanted to be able to book, and we did. It worked. So in 1997, we left Denver and lived in Kansas for 4 years, north of Topeka. Elaine called it boot camp for Missouri, learning about ticks, chiggers, humidity, and snowstorms in March and ice storms in January. Can you get the charging cord? Feel it. Now we're going to backup solar system, my Patriot charger. Compliments of Bill. He gave this to me.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, flash off. That's blind me.
I know. That you forget everything you were thinking.
Plugging into my Patriot. There we go. Okay, we won't be dead now. We have a tablet up in the tree. So this thing should be on hotspot, Wi-Fi. But so we Denver. We left Denver in 1997. Lived in Kansas for 4 years until 2001. Then we moved to Missouri. So that's kind of our saga. So I moved my family twice. I brought my entire family here. For quite a while, every single one of my children and every one of my grandchildren lived on the same 10-acre farm, one 10-acre lot. And we bought that farm in 2001 and paid it off in less than 1 year. It was $20,000 for 10 acres. Try to find a deal like that now. Not going to happen. It could. I tell people to keep your eyes peeled, and if you're going to do it, do it. Strike while the iron's hot, because there's still deals out there. I've heard some really amazing deals. So and you can do different ways to get land too. So, but I believe there's a plan. What I see is I just see a big picture, and I see Father orchestrating a plan, people getting together and working together. And my son has a skid loader. It's a Bobcat. And I looked up the company because I was looking up for parts for it. I wanted to buy a fuel filter for it because I needed it. And I looked up the parent company is called Doosan, Doosan. And I thought, well, if the parts are made in China, well, why not buy? If the machine is made in China, what's wrong with Chinese parts? But it wasn't. It's made in Korea. Doosan is a Korean company, and the word Doosan means grains of sand that together make a mountain. They said this exemplifies. Look it up, Doosan. These two words exemplify our motto, or what we want to do. People working together, uniting together, we can create a mountain, and that's what I'm trying to do here: is develop this area of 120 mile radius, 50,000 square miles, into a giant mountain. And it is a single mountain. It's a big giant mountain with a peak at the St. Francis Mountains. It's a plateau. There's actually more than one. There's the Boston Plateau, the Springfield Plateau, and there's aquifers. There's water under practically every single square inch of the place. So There's water available for food production, and it's it's like the greatest region in the world for survival agriculture. I told it to a guy up at a church festival, feast day, from Minnesota. He goes, "We have 8 foot deep topsoil." I said, "Survival agriculture. You live in tank country." Hitler rolled over Poland in like 3 days because it's flat. And tanks aren't going to get around here very well. They won't be here that much. So people think the government's going to kick everybody's ass, and that's not true. They can try, but they're not going to happen.
You have what, regional destabilization
Hmm?
and you have regional destabilization, chaos, and
Yeah.
rather than total dominance. If
Yeah.
the system breaks down,
Yeah.
when it breaks down.
Yeah. Timmy said you have destabilization if it breaks down, when it breaks down. Yeah. It is a when, not a question of if. And here's a point that this was made for my family back in probably about 1993, maybe 94. Jack McLam was a highest decorated police officer in the Phoenix Police Force, and he wrote a book called The Vampire Killer 2000. That the goal was to put a stake through the New World Order's heart, the vampire, by the year 2000. Well, it didn't happen, but I'm still alive. But one of the points he made, really took to heart, is he said, when the things fall apart, the government's going to try to control two things. That's people and money, and that means controlling the cities. And he says, if you're not in the city, you're going to be light years ahead of everybody else. So don't be in the city. I have said for years, there's 3 rules of survival if you want to stay alive through what's coming. Rule number 1 is get out of the cities. Rule number 2 is get out of the cities. And rule number 3 is, guess what? You got it. Get out of the cities, because the cities are going to be death traps. And I'm going to be reading a book called Solar Flare by a Christian author, Larry Burkett, a finance writer. And that book, there's a scene in there that I just loved. In the thing, there's a solar flare, and it killed. It was like an EMP, like kind of like lights out. All the power went down, and so the government evacuated, relocated people out to tent cities, and they got out in the tent cities, and they controlled the crime, and the bad people didn't stay around very long. They were encouraged to go elsewhere, or they died, or whatever. And it came to the point where it was okay to go back to the cities, and this one lady's like, "Man, I can't wait to get back to the city." And this other woman goes like, "Why would you want to go back to the city? We're safe here. We have good food. We have good people around us. Our children can go out and play without getting hurt or kidnapped or eaten. And why would you want to go back?" Oh, well.
Isn't that just like going back to Egypt?
Yeah. Let's go back to Babylon. That's what a lot of people's attitude.
Well, that's just the beginning, right? Because to leave the cities means to leave the conveniences and the comforts and the powers that it provides. So it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal.
You ever said, "Oh, I live out in the country, but I want to move further out"? Yeah. I mean, if you can do it, that's great. You can build your place up, and whatever if you have 10 acres or something, you can sell it to somebody from California. And somebody said, "Don't bring people from California." There's a lot of good people here from California. A lot of good people. I know a lot of them. And East Coast, West Coast, people who come there have money, and they can generally pay, a higher price for something. But not that you're going to gouge them or anything. But you can sell your land there and buy another place. Have it all lined up and just kind of make the transition so you can move further out. Yeah, very good. And the further out, the better. Obviously, I don't know if you're right by city, but yeah, you say you're on the country, but not far enough. I agree. We moved out in the country. We moved from Denver. I'd say that's a population range of Denver, of Colorado, basically is 2 million people up and down the Front Ranges, basically like one giant long city from, practically New Mexico clear up to Wyoming, right through Colorado. So at that time, the population of Colorado was about 3 million people. Well, 2 million of them lived on the Front Range. So I said we moved from a population base of 2 million to a little town, tiny town in Kansas of 200, and guess what? It was too big. Had the same exact things happen to me there that I had happen to me in Aurora, Colorado. You can't have that car in your garage that nobody can see it unless it's licensed, plated, and insured. And I had a Volkswagen Bug that I parked behind a 6-foot fence in Colorado. Somebody put sugar in the engine and blew it up. But you know, you have to have it license plated and insured. Well, it's behind my fence. I don't care. You have to have it license plated and insured. So I had to sell it. But yeah, it's just really a irritating thing. Yeah, so you're right. You could be further out, and that would be good. Get out where you're totally self-sufficient. You know, just got to plan on it. You know, plan for it. Try to find a place that has a spring and a pond, and you know, if you find a place that already has fencing, and a lot of I tell this people, if you're trying to buy something, try to buy something with as much infrastructure as possible. You know, much outbuildings, fencing, pasture. You know, developed. You don't want anything that's totally clear cut if it's got wood, but you want some forest for firewood and burning, and you want a pasture for raising animals. So you want about 50-50 maybe. You got that. My voice is going. I said there's over there. Or get close here or something.
You just need some. You need to get it out of your way.
I can't talk anymore. My voice is shot.
Oh, I see.
I think I just watch the fire for a while.
Yeah, I think you got 7 people in there. Oh, this is 5 by 5.
Anybody wants to ask anything?
All messages. I want to move to Missouri. That's what Deborah says. That's Deborah. I think it's from Arkansas. If I remember, yeah. Wants to move to Missouri. I don't blame you. Do it. I think the laws in Missouri are fairly. I think a lot of people have fought to have certain kinds of liberties. I think there's a lot of taxation, but there's a lot of personal liberty to do things.
Arkansas is really different. It's a lot of difference. Homeschooling really sucks in Arkansas.
Well, it sounds like Kansas is not the place to be either. Yeah, I was in the Pacific Northwest, and I've lived in California. And, when things are somewhat okay, it was nice, but as soon as you could tell the fabric of the thin veil of civilization was starting to wear thin, you realize real quick that that's not where you want to be. At least that's what happened to me. I was in these places that had good food and lots of accommodations and whatnot, but man, as soon as you had to think about really trusting and relying and people having your back and whatever, it was a whole different scene to me. And so Missouri has been the complete turnaround on that. I'm from here. I was born here, so it was not completely unfamiliar, but a lot more people stop to help you if your car breaks down rather than shake their fist at you, and simple things like that. Go do a walk around to the fire, huh? Some nice visual. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. Do the walk around the fire. There is a sinkhole there, luckily.
I think we're pretty close to sitting on the cave, standing on top of the cave.
Most people are just out for themselves, and it's getting worse. I completely agree. I think that Or they say these are the times that try men's souls. That's a good saying. And what happens is that you're tried and found wanting. So that's another one.
Summer children of sunshine patriot will in the times of difficulty
Sunshine
shrink for service
patriot.
to their country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of men and women.
Yeah, sunshine patriots and fair weather friends, and yeah, I mean it's true. It's true. It's I think that's one of the things that the city breeds is it breeds anonymity. It breeds where you don't have to pay attention to it, and because people think they can get away with it because you can just kind of play off of the number of people that there are, and it's not a good lasting foundation. So I don't know what the future of cities will be, but maybe non-existent. I don't know how big a righteous city would be, but I'm willing to find out. But the ones that we have are not very safe or very good, it seems. Get some interesting lighting effects off the smoke.
Yeah. Beautiful. Huh. It's like sunlight beaming in.
Yeah, it's neat. I think that's an interesting thing sometimes on lower quality cameras too. Like rather than 4K or whatever, you get some of these light anomalies sometimes. I don't know if you always get exactly the same way on a real. Um,
Yeah.
it's not better is not always better or whatever. Higher tech, not always
Yeah.
better. Get some fun things with this. You got to sing one of those songs. I've got to learn them. Mahatma Gandhi said the world has enough for everyone's needs, but not for everyone's greed. That's Captain Zuboom. Zuboom. Zapt. Zuboom.
Yeah. That was good.
Yep, that's very true.
That is very true. Yeah, absolutely.
We have enough for our needs, but not our greed.
Aye, therein lies the rub.
And I think we've proven it. It seems like we've proven it that the way we've been doing it doesn't really work. So, I mean, as a whole. So it's time to get out of Babylon.
Yeah.
Those that elect a fool are well represented. Also Gandhi.
Those who are what?
Those who elect a fool are well represented. Yeah. Arkansas has open carry law, so does Missouri. Arkansas puts a freeze on property taxes when you're at age 65, not Missouri. Taxes are a bit higher in Missouri. Arkansas towns further are further apart, not so in Missouri. Oh, so that's some good pros and cons. Ray Sova chiming in with that.
Tax definitely. Yeah.
seems like.
You
And,
have to pay
and
for the public pool system. 2/3 of your taxes for your car goes to pay for the idiots to be turned into communists.
and what I've seen with Missouri is they're very good at collecting their taxes. They're very diligent about it.
Yeah, I got my 55th notice yesterday.
Well, I'm just saying that, if you need services or they definitely seem to hone in on it. So
Yeah.
uh,
I don't know anything. I haven't known these for 2 to 5 years. So
yeah, they want to be
I'm
able
not
to hear.
paying your dang taxes.
You were wondering what you were saying. I think you were saying you got your 55th notice. I don't think he heard you say that. Someone was asking what you were saying because you were further away. Couldn't hear you.
Timothy had said about Missouri is good at pursuing their tax collection system, and I said, yeah, I was just exaggerating, but I've got my 50, several notices I've got for taxes that I don't own anything. I haven't driven a car for 2 or 3 years, so they don't want me to pay taxes on them. I just throw them in the trash. Oh well, so sad. Too bad, so sad. That's his life. Roadways in Missouri are better. Oh, no kidding. You ain't kidding there, dude. Uh, I ran expos with two guys. Both of them lived in Arkansas. I was at the Petersons' house. Friends, really good friends of ours. Good enough friends that one time we went to what do you call it? They sold garden art, so we helped them. They did Sunday Sabbath. We did Saturday Sabbath. So they would run it on the operation on Saturday. We'd do it on Sunday. My son and I. So, well, went out with Shar, Scott's wife, and her oldest daughter, who my son would have liked to have married, courted anyway. He asked Scott if he could court her, and he said no, because number one, you don't drive the longest lasting, most reliable truck in America, the Chevy diesel. He drove a Ford. He drove a Ford, so he didn't qualify on that. And so he said, and second, you can't afford the dowry, and third, you don't believe what we believe. So anyway, but so we're at a show one time. We did a craft show, and it was a Saturday Sunday thing, so we had to stay in a motel. And it was Char's idea. She goes, let's just get one motel room, okay? So her and I and Rochelle and Ian and their son Sam stayed in the motel room. So I was able to go home and tell my wife, hey, I slept in the same motel room with Char, and Ian slept in the same motel room with Rochelle. I didn't say right off the bat that they were all in one motel room. Yeah. Anyway, it was pretty cool. But really good friends, really good friends over the years. Been really precious to us. But yeah, anyway, my point, that was all backstory. Grief. Money trail. Um, so another guy I ran expos with lived in Arkansas. I said, hey, how far does Will live from here? I want to go visit him. Nope, you can't get there. I said, why not? Because you have a car with normal tires and the rock roads here will shred them. They use river rock in Arkansas, and it's like, if you measure millions of little Indian arrowheads, they they can really slice your tires up. So they said no, and I took his word for it. I didn't push the issue. I just went, okay, fine. Think they're gonna come over here?
Maybe.
I doubt it.
Are they looking for?
They're closing the chickens up.
Oh, okay.
Going for the evening walk. See if I can get this up where I can see him. Oh. That flashlight he got is really bright. I don't think they can't even see past the fire at all.
Actually, Sherry texted me right when you were plugging her channel. You were talking about her channel.
Really?
Yeah, and she texted me.
Cool.
She was just asking how my night was. Where I guess.
Tell her I just did a shout out to her channel.
I did. I said it was at the same time too. The same time
Yeah.
she texted. That was kind of fun.
Sherry McKinstry, YouTube channel, Sherry McKinstry. I'm going to do it again here. Timothy said that she had just texted him and asked how the evenings are going. So I just give her a shout out. I want to say that again. She's a really good gardener from Pennsylvania. She's out here now. Been a real blessing to everybody here. So go to her channel, subscribe, watch a few videos, learn something, and hit like and subscribe. Share, like, and subscribe. Isn't that how it goes? Like, share, and subscribe. Whatever like, share, and subscribe. That helps. It helps the algorithm get her a little bit of popularity. She got under 500 subscribers, and I think that should be over 1,000 pretty soon. in my personal opinion. In my not so humble opinion. Help her out. She's out here helping out, trying to make a way. And she's going to buy a property. She's going to help people stay there. You know, she wants to. One day she was hearing talking to Timothy, and she goes, "I want people to help people stay on my property." And she goes, "And I'm serious." So that's cool. Yeah, I'll post Sherry's channel. It's in. I did a YouTube, just one about 4 or 5 videos ago. It's called a shout out to 2 local homestead channels, and it's that her all of her links are there. It's her like five best videos and links. So just go to that, find that, go to my channel, and look for just scroll through my videos, and scroll down till you see one. It has a picture of Simply Jan Homestead, which is just about 15 minutes from me. Sure, it'll probably within half an hour, I'm guessing. But when she buys her land, but Simply Jan, it has a picture of Jan on it. So look at that one. The bunch of links for Sherry's channel on that also. So check that one out. And I'll post it when I get done here. We'll post some more links for it. A person should not be shy of buying land that has no road but got a legal easement. And I don't know about that. Ray. In Arkansas, it might be different in Missouri. I don't know. I heard that happens a lot in Arkansas. And you know, if you're never going to shoot you when you try to get to your land, that's probably not a good deal, right? That's my opinion. Or flatten your tires or whatever.
Just be standing there saying no. Fight me.
Yeah, northern Arkansas is great. I mean, northwest Arkansas is really phenomenal. For about 7 or 8 years, there was a little newsletter called The Corner Gathering, and every issue was completely filled with testimonies of people who moved to northwest Arkansas. About the 12 counties. Newton's about the bottom one. There's 12 counties in northwest Arkansas. They're part of the Ozark Plateau. And if you go to my map on Archhaven or find it or whatever, but I do videos of it. But I made a map by taking scissors, and I had a friend of mine print 4 maps: Kansas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri, and I cut them with scissors and scotch taped them together and made a map and drew circles on it and drew notes on it all over. It's a very famous map now. I have a copy of the original copy of it, but it's all faded. You can't even look at it. But it's online. You can find it online. I'll try to post a link for it here below. But yeah, it's interesting because Northwest Arkansas, the newsletter gathering, the corner gathering newsletter was just amazing because people would say things like, "Well, I don't know how I got here. I went to sleep in Indiana and woke up in Arkansas." You know, that happened so suddenly, so miraculously, so powerfully. And other people like, "Well, God moved me here, and He moved me here, and He moved me here, and moved me to Portland, then He moved me to Kansas, then He moved me to here, and then He moved me to here, and then He moved me to Northwest Arkansas." So just sort of totally different. A pastor and his wife that were at my daughter's wedding in Colorado. She got married right before we left, and they moved to Northwest Arkansas. Dave and Nona Grant, and Nona's passed on. I guess I don't know about Dave, but they were in Harrison, Arkansas last I checked, and they were in the last issue of the Corner Gathering, the 27th issue, last and final edition. They were in there, and just giving their story about how they moved from Colorado to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to about 3 or 4 to 5 different places, and then to Northwest Arkansas. So really amazing. So provident. And I actually got a hold of Nona, called her, and I couldn't believe it. This woman was like 85 years old or something at the time. How's Anna doing? How's Ian doing? How's David doing? How's Isaac doing? How's Susie doing? She remembered every one of my children's names. It was just amazing. Be a pastor's wife, I guess, and memorizing names. I don't know. It's just real, so cool. Yeah. So, well, I'm getting chilly. I'm gonna call this good unless Timothy wants to talk some more.
Well, that's your channel. I just chat whenever you're taking a break.
Yeah, I'm taking a break. I'm quitting. I should have worn socks. I didn't, but I'm still.
really?
It's just
Just
kind of breezy, you know, and my
Yeah,
throat's
you gotta
getting scratchy.
get warm.
So that's really cool. Now it's lit up. All the little. They're just see, they're infrared. It's the hot spots on the steel thing. It's just like a whole bunch of glowing flecks like this fire, but not. That's just what you're seeing there. If you can see the way I'm seeing it, there's and some of them are from uh, embers laying outside the thing, but some of them are just. Oh, maybe they're just embers on the around the thing. I can't see them with my naked eye, but they sure show up in there. Look at that.
Yeah, I think your battery is getting done too.
Again.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird? It's glowing so many places.
yeah, it looks cool. I mean, it looks warm and embery.
It's like I swipe to the side and that happens. Get it out of the way.
My property is off an easement, says Ray.
See what?
Ray says my property is off an easement, so he has an easement. It can work. It can. It's
yeah.
just sometimes depends on how easy your easement is.
Yeah. So Ray, are you in Arkansas? I guess. I thought he was in Missouri. That's on the Pomona area. Maybe I'm thinking somebody else.
And Deborah says goodnight. She has to go to work. You saw that
Yeah,
one? Okay.
She was medical, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna can it then. Here.
Okay. All right. Well, good night.
I'll scroll through and say good night to everybody. I like to do that.
For sure.
Okay, time to say good night, everybody. Good night, Zapped and Kaboom. Good night, Juan. Good night, Sarge. Good night, Gaddy Anton. Good night, Deborah.
No, it's me.
Oh, sound like a dog. Moral Compass. Good night, Michelle. We're dying on the line. Oh, it's not plugged in. He's not connected to that thing. Went dead. Night, Grandpa. Night, John Boy. Jack Green, how you doing, girl? Little girl, young lady. How you doing? You get at your shed yet? I wrote you. I want to know your story in your shed. You're keeping track of that. Stay up on them. Push them. Call the company. You know, do whatever you can. Make sure you keep on them. Okay. I want to hear that you get that thing. That'll be awesome. My property is off an easement. Okay, well, that's fine. I've enjoyed the chat. Work calls. Okay. 3:45 a.m. Oh my gosh, that's really early. Yeah.
That's soon.
Yeah. All right. Good night, Deborah. Good night, Ray. I gotta post Sherry's link. Yep. Okay. That's it. Okay. Good night, guys. Hallelujah. It was fun.
Hallelujah.
Good night, Timothy.
Good night, everyone. Anybody who can hear my voice, have a wonderful night.